takes sacrifice to win. And you sacrifice in one area so that you can win in another area. And you make the decisions of what those things would be for you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Digest This podcast. Today gets a bit personal as I interview my mother. In this episode, she and I both share what we ate as kids, the sacrifices she made for us as we were growing up in the household, and how she managed to buy 4 homes, and they are all bought and paid for, no debt. And she also shares a little bit about how you can get ahead by simply prioritizing what's important to you. It wasn't always easy growing up in the Ugarte household, and nothing was handed to me personally to get to where I am today. My mother is truly an inspiration to me and a huge testimony to what you truly can accomplish without a college diploma. Health comes in all ways, including managing your stress, often brought on by finances. So if you want to de-stress your life by managing your money, setting food and lifestyle boundaries, this is the episode for you. But before we get into the episode, a huge thank you to everyone who's already supporting the launch of this podcast. If you're enjoying it, would you do me a favor and pause this episode right now and give it a rating and review? By doing this, you're helping me get my podcast into more ears and help those needing to better their lives, their health, and inform the public of what they truly need to hear and what goes on in the food industry they may never hear from anywhere else. So thank you again for all your love and support. It truly means so much. Are formula-fed babies at greater risk for obesity? That is today's subject and topic in today's Bite of Knowledge. If you give your baby formula, studies show that your baby is at greater risk of obesity, and that risk is related to the amount of formula he or she receives. The more formula, the higher risk, and vice versa. So according to the Center for Disease Control, CDC, studies show that breastfeeding reduces the risk of a child becoming overweight. Children who breastfed any amount for 9 months had a 30% reduced risk compared to those who exclusively were formula fed. Researchers haven't figured out exactly why this is the case. Some think that bottle feeding encourages overfeeding, while others suggest it is because of the formula that they are specifically fed. And they think that those factors, they just can't compare to the mother's milk. And the mother's milk can help regulate the baby's appetite. Most experts agree that risk is affected by a combination of both. So could be bottle feeding plus the formula, but there are studies to show that formula-fed babies are at greater risk of obesity. So exclusive breastfeeding seems to offer greater protection than a combination of breastfeeding and formula feeding. A study of Canadian schoolchildren found that both those who were formula-fed and those who received a combination of formula-fed and breast milk were at a higher risk of overweight and obesity than those who only received breast milk. Although long-term studies are limited, the CDC concludes that the protection breastfeeding offers against one's risk of becoming overweight extends into adolescence and even into adulthood. A study of data from the Western Australian pregnancy cohort covering infancy to the age of 20 found that breastfeeding until 6 months of age protected against increased risks of obesity in childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Check this out, you guys. A study published in the Journal of Pediatrics found this. It showed that, preventing obesity was simply by getting breast milk directly from the breast. So study after study. Why is that? Well, it's been thought to, as mentioned previously, the breast milk from mothers have so many different nutrients and benefits, and it helps the digestive tract develop within the baby. Also helps with certain bacteria, helps the microbiome develop within the baby. And that obviously affects them long-term as far as obesity. People that are in adulthood today with obesity, they often do have a lot of gut issues. Their microbiome isn't corrected. So things like that they suffer from other issues as well. And so they're thinking that could be the link, and that formula-fed babies, that those particular nutrients are missing, and then it just trickles down to their life forever, possibly. I personally know some people, they were formula-fed and they developed celiac disease. They had an intolerance to dairy, in particular, sisters. One was formula fed, one was not. The sister that was formula fed developed celiac and had all these other gut issues and digestive issues. And the one that was breastfed didn't have any of them. Now that obviously that could be a coincidence, but this is just one story and scenario that I could tell and share. Me personally, I'm so grateful that I was formula fed, and I, of course, had gut issues later in life. So, just telling you that things happen. And of course, gut issues may not always be related to being formula fed. Obviously, there are other factors. You could have been breastfed as a baby and develop gut issues later in life due to your own diet and habits. Come college, you start binge drinking, you start eating really crappy food, your stress levels. So there's other factors that go into that. It doesn't mean that you're going to have the best life when you're breastfed, and vice versa, right? But for the average person, there are a lot of different links associated with formula fed. Now, all this to say, if you want to formula feed your baby or need to because of adoption, past breast surgery, your work, there's other factors that go into it. Sometimes the baby just doesn't latch on. So there's no shame. I'm not shaming anyone for choosing to formula feed via bottle. That is completely your choice. And I definitely do not condemn anyone that does that. What bothers me is that there's limited options, right? And the ones that are out there just aren't the best. And I know so many mothers, they try and get baby formula overseas. This was long before the whole shortage. People were buying baby formula overseas because like in the United Kingdom and other places, and they were saying that their options are a lot healthier, so mothers are aware and they know this. And it breaks my heart. And I've spoken with several mothers and they said, look, it breaks my heart. I can't breastfeed and I'm having, my only option is this brand. And I can't afford the really expensive brand or buy overseas, and this is just kind of what I have to do. And my heart breaks for them because I wish there were better options. So I'll digress over that. So definitely not condoning or putting anyone down for bottle feeding and formula feeding, but I just find it quite interesting that there is a link in obesity and overweight babies and even overweight adulthood and other issues too, like celiacs, because of the formula fed, probably maybe in their earlier years. So again, these are just interesting studies I found to be, perked my interest and wanted to share that with you guys. And that's today's bite of knowledge. Hey guys, what's up? This is Bethany with the Digest This podcast, and we have my mother on the show today, and she is full of knowledge, but we're talking finances today and a little bit about the background, my background, how we grew up, grassroots, just so many different things that we're going to dive into. So hello, Mom.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. All right. So let me just give you a little introduction. She's the mother of three. She owns 5 houses. Okay. My mom owns 5 houses. She is not in debt in any of them. They're all
One of them. The one we just bought in South Dakota.
Okay. They just bought one like a couple months ago. Okay.
January.
They just bought one a couple months ago. Fifth one, that one, they are still paying a mortgage. But up until a few months ago, they had 4 homes all bought and paid for, no debt, no credit card debt, no car debt, no car payment. And they live a really frugal life, and it takes work to get there. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, as well as, what it takes to sacrifice food, the choices that you make to get to where you want to be. And I've definitely learned so much from her, and just about saving, and, if you want this, you got to sacrifice that. And just sharing a little about my upbringing. And we didn't have it, I guess I thought I had it great, honestly, because when you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
You don't know. Like, you're getting clothes from, secondhand stores, yard sales, and toys from, that are used. And I had no idea. And honestly,
the reason for that was so that you could use that money for something else that was a higher priority for yourself.
Yeah. And I don't care. I'm not embarrassed or anything like that. And I'm
well, and when your
grateful.
kids are little, they don't know the difference.
They don't know.
They don't know the difference. We bought for our kids when they were, just growing up, actually baby clothes, hardly used. The kids grow so quickly.
Yeah.
And we bought at yard sales. We bought their toys at yard sales. We bought Christmas presents for them when they were really young at yard sales, because they didn't know the difference. And the toys you could find were like new.
Yeah. Obviously you're not giving someone like a broken toy.
No broken toys.
But it was in good condition.
Yeah, they were in very good condition, a much lower price. And then we could use that money that we saved from spending tons on toys to do something else that was a higher priority for us.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
saving for a car or something else.
Totally. And your background, did you graduate college, Mom?
I went to 1 year and 1 quarter at Cal Poly Pomona. So I didn't graduate.
And just that just goes to show you don't have to have some crazy degree to make it in life.
That's correct.
Let me tell you, my mom, she has a story. What did you do for work when you were married?
Well, when my husband and I got married, I actually worked at a preschool. And then I'm trying to think after that, my first jobs were, before I was married, was fast food. Like most everybody my age, you started out at a fast food restaurant. Minimum wage, because it wasn't going to be your lifelong job. Wow. It was a stepping stone to get to somewhere else.
And what was minimum wage back then?
My first job, I made $1.45 an hour. Well, actually, I even babysat for less than that when I was younger. But
yeah, how much was that?
50 cents an hour.
50 cents an hour. Man, when I was babysitting, I started out babysitting, and I was making like $5 an hour, and I was like, I'm making bank, okay?
That would have been for me.
Yeah. So when you got married, though, didn't you do pottery too?
Mm-hmm. My husband and I threw pottery on wheels, potting wheels, and we would go to the park and sell it at the park on the weekends. We had jobs during the week, and then we would go on the weekend and sell pottery on the weekends. And
you did that to pay the bills, right?
When we first got married, we didn't make a whole lot of money, but we knew we were savers. So we were both on the same page, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Both savers, and sat down and said, what is it we want to do? What are we saving for? Because if you have a goal, it's easier to save. So you want to have a goal. And we saved up and had a down payment saved up for a down payment on our house.
What was I don't know if you want to disclose this, but I know the answer. How much was it? How much was your first home that you bought?
We bought our first home in 1977. It was $33,500.
Oh my, it's less than a car these days. What other sacrifices did you do to save money? Like, did you go out to eat? Did you you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was your lifestyle?
Well, we didn't go out to eat. And I cooked at home. We probably went out to eat maybe 2 times a year. One was a fast food restaurant, so it wasn't a fancy place that we went out to eat.
2 times a year, and one of them was fast food. That's like people eat out like 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm. And I love to eat out now, but now I can afford to. Mm-hmm. And back then, I couldn't afford to. I probably ate healthier than if we had money to go out to eat. So I looked for what was on sale. And my brother-in-law said, "How do you figure out what you're going to eat?" I said, whatever's on sale is what we're eating.
That's our menu, whatever's on sale. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it takes sacrifice. And, I remember when I was super young, I remember eating rice and beans. And these were beans that were not canned, but the soaked kind that were dried because they were cheaper. Mm-hmm. And I remember we would eat that multiple times a week. And I didn't really know.
Beans and rice make a complete protein. And,
I would just put a bunch of ketchup on it. As long as I had ketchup, when I was young, I was a ketchup lover. So if I put ketchup on my beans and rice, I was like, okay, whatever. And I mean, I think we had pancakes maybe for dinner, or I don't even know.
I don't remember if we had pancakes or not.
But I had no idea that, let's say, like, I don't want to even say poor, because I don't think you were poor.
We didn't have a lot of money, but we had enough.
We had enough.
So that's not really poor. So we had enough, and I had enough to even save something. It takes sacrifice to win. Mm-hmm. And you sacrifice in one area so that you can win in another area. And you make the decisions of what those things would be for you. For some people, they want to, especially for you, Bethany, you want to eat healthier food.
Yeah.
Especially for your digestion. And so, for those people who have a limited amount of money, you have to make a sacrifice in one area in order to be able to buy
totally
what you need in another area. So you don't have a car payment, so that you can use that money for healthier foods if that's the kind of
if that's what you choose to
if
spend
that's
money
what your
on.
choice is.
Totally.
That's correct.
Yeah, and for me, like, healthy food is a priority to me. So I don't go on vacation. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the last time I went on a vacation. I'm not, my car is paid off. It was used. It's a very old, electric car.
Well, hybrid.
It's a hybrid. Yeah,
car.
It's a hybrid, but I bought it used so I wouldn't have to have a car payment. Mm-hmm. And it's not some like fancy, thing. And, I'm modest in other areas so that I can put that priority. And
that's right.
For other
you make
people,
choices.
Yeah, for other people it's different, and maybe food isn't a priority, and maybe they want to spend it on a vacation or whatever. Right.
That's right.
So,
and you can save up for vacations so that you don't have to pay for them after you come back.
Right. And you're not, I mean, when I did like remodels on my house, I made sure I had the money before I spent it. I didn't take out a loan. I'm very happy to say that I am in no debt except for my mortgage of my house. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I could not pay that cash.
That one's a little difficult.
That one's a little difficult to,
But you can, when you do have extra money, you get a raise at work, or you can use that money to make extra payments on your home so you can pay your home off early.
Yes.
And that's what we did.
That's definitely what you guys did, and I hope to do that as well. And you guys are such a great example. to share that kind of information, even an extra $200, towards your principal.
Yeah. Well, when I was young, I didn't realize you could even do that. And then a friend of my husband said that he was putting any extra money towards the principal on his home. I said, "Can you do that?" And after he told me that, every month I put extra money towards that, got it paid off.
And you paid your houses off in how many years?
We had a 30-year mortgage. We paid it off in 15 years.
Ooh.
And both of the main homes that we bought, one right after another, we paid off our first home and then saved up for a down payment on the second home, kept the first home so that we could rent it out and then use that money to make extra payments on the home we were living in. So paid that home off early too.
Yeah, using the money wisely and
Correct.
smart, not just going on vacations because you have extra money. You know what I mean?
Well, people decide what they want to do with their money. For us, we wanted to make sure that when we were older, everything was paid off. And, houses, because that's the only thing that we ever made payments on was our homes. Make sure that was paid off so that when you do retire, you don't have that high payment that goes with renting or goes with a mortgage payment, that it's all paid off when your income becomes lower when you retire.
Research shows the average cleaning product contains chemicals that are affecting our lungs. The researchers also added that accelerated lung function declines in those who clean regularly with these products, and the lung health of these participants were just under the comparable to smoking. Hazardous chemicals can be found in bleach-based products, disinfectants, and degreasers containing 2-butoxyethanol, commonly referred to as EGBE. Butoxyethanol is a solvent in cleaning products due to its ability to clean grease and dirt. It is also a common ingredient in liquid soaps and cosmetics, hairspray, paint, glue, as well as industrial and household cleaning products. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, aka CDC, and the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, EGB, they state, EGB can affect the blood. Officials say the chemicals can be absorbed through the skin or inhaled, potentially exposing persons handling the product to levels above the exposure limit set by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, aka that's OSHA. Or OSHA, depending on how you want to say it. This is 50 parts per million, right? So EGBE is listed as possibly toxic to the eyes and skin, central nervous system, respiratory system, kidneys, and liver. The Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease states it also affects development and reproduction. This is all just another reason why I use Branch Basics for my cleaning needs. You just mix their non-toxic concentrate with water in a glass spray bottle, and you're good to go and clean your entire home. Everything from your kitchen to your bathroom to your living room and even your kids' toys. Branch Basics is so safe and gentle. I've personally washed my fruits and veggies with it, as well as used it on my couch and in my car to get out stains. It's safe around your kids and pets, and it actually works. It's 100% biodegradable, fragrance-free, and contains no harmful substances. Their concentration is derived from plants and minerals, and the best part is that you only have to buy one product, which is their do-it-all concentrate. If you want to clean up your home and your health by using Branch Basics, they're offering my listeners 15% off. Just use code LILSIPPER at checkout to receive a discount. I recommend starting with their starter kit, which includes everything you'll need with simple instructions. Again, if you go to branchbasics.com and enter code Little Sipper at checkout. That's LILSIPPER at checkout. You'll receive a discount. So I have to have you tell this story of the olive jar situation.
Well,
I mean, it's just like the sweetest story, and it just touched my heart. And I never actually knew this until I want to say like maybe 6 months ago. And I'll set it up. But so every Christmas, my mom, she stuffs my dad's stocking. She would stuff it, and until this day, and she would put a jar of green olives, a jar of green olives in my dad's stocking. And I just thought, oh, my dad, yeah, he likes green olives, so that she just puts it in his stocking. But apparently there was more to the story.
Well, when we were just married and we didn't have a lot of money, we didn't have kids yet, and we were shopping at the grocery store. We had a mortgage because we had bought our first home. So things were not terrible, but tight. And we were in the grocery store and putting different things into the cart, and my husband put a jar of olives in there. And I took it out and put it back on the shelf because it wasn't in the budget. And so
the budget was so tight you couldn't afford a jar of olives.
Not extra.
Not extra.
It wasn't in the budget. So he was okay with it. I mean, he's always been to stay on the budget, but so I put that as a reminder, hey, we can afford a jar of olives. And I put that in his stocking every Christmas.
So sweet. Just kind of like, hey, look how far we've come. Mm-hmm. We can now afford these olives.
We can afford these olives.
It's just super touching to me, and, just little stuff like that. And so like what did you grow up eating as a child?
Well, I came from a family of 6 children. So there's 8 of us living in a 3-bedroom home with 1 bathroom.
One bathroom?
1 bathroom.
Man.
So I didn't think we were poor either. And my dad always provided everything we needed. So I didn't think about it. But after church on Sunday, we would go to the day-old bakery, and my mom would buy 10 loaves of bread for $1. If you can believe that.
10 loaves?
10 loaves of bread for $1. And
this was like white Wonder Bread.
It was white Wonder Bread. And we, and other things that she would buy at the day-old bakery and bring them home. It would probably last us a week because 6 kids, we ate a lot of bread and a lot of sandwiches. But, that's what we grew up. I remember we would buy corn on the cob and be just shucking bunches of corn on the cob. And that's what I remember eating for dinner. I remember eating, my mom would make rice. We didn't have cereal in the morning. So my mom would cook up rice, and maybe other people remember this too, cook up the rice, and then we would put it in the bowl with milk and cinnamon and sugar.
That's trending right now. I
think. Is it?
I don't know. It's coming back.
It was good. So, I mean, we never went without. We always had something, but it may not have been what other people had, and I was okay with that. And my dad provided for us. We probably could have gotten free or reduced lunches at school, but my dad said no. I will provide for my own family.
He wanted to be the provider.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's chosen, a lot, for him. And it just is a reminder just to be grateful, today's, society, generation, whatever you want to say, it's just, I feel like, we forget how blessed we are, like how blessed we really are.
And I didn't really grow up eating healthy foods, obviously. But when I got married, my husband, who actually came from a very poor family, his mom made sure that they ate healthy. So he he said he knew what he was going to eat 2 months from now because it was the same thing he ate every night, beans, rice, and salad. But that was probably healthier than what I was eating.
Yeah. This is what I remember, like as a child, me growing up, is we would have cold cereal in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Eggs, it was like a very rare occasion we would have eggs in the morning.
I still have cold cereal.
My mom, yeah, she does still
Grape
have cold
nuts.
cereal. Grape nuts, okay, that's another topic. I'm trying to get her off grape nuts, you guys. I'm trying to get her into something else.
And strawberries.
It's okay, strawberries, but grape nuts, come on, Mom, we gotta. But yeah, I mean, we would have cold cereal, eggs, never, maybe toast, but we had like a selection. It was like plain Cheerios, plain shredded wheat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Oh, and Raisin Bran, which
Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran. I mean,
That's a treat.
On a very rare occasion, you would get like frosted shredded wheats or something like that.
On a rare occasion.
A very rare occasion.
Maybe on vacation, if we were on
vacation. Like,
camping or something.
Plain Cheerios, like forget Honey Nut Cheerios, like the plainest plain of plain. And we would just eat that for breakfast. And, we would have peanut butter and honey sandwiches, not jelly, because honey was cheaper at the time. Jelly's now cheaper.
Well, and it was healthier. When I married my husband, he kind of showed me a healthier way to eat. Not that I eat as healthy as Bethany, but healthier than I did as a child.
Now I'm showing my dad a few things now. I got him, in fact, this is like a side note, but I got him into raw honey a long time ago. And now my dad, of course, he got into it, and now he's like doing his beehives and, all of that stuff. But I kind of take pride in having him create a beehive.
And he loves it.
I didn't think it would go that far, but anyway, so yeah, that's kind of what, I grew up. Lunchables were completely off topic. Like I would get Lunchables. We homeschooled, but once a year we would go to a school and do SAT testing for a week. We would do SAT testing. And so as a treat, my mom would get these Lunchables, not because they were, maybe because they were unhealthy, but also because they were expensive. Or expensive.
They're not now, but back then they were like first out or something.
They were expensive for what you got. Mm-hmm. You weren't really getting anything. And so you were like, why pay this when we can just have a peanut butter and honey sandwich, or tuna sandwiches were another rotation.
Or egg sandwiches. We had egg sandwiches.
Egg and ketchup. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still eat that today. I love it.
If you think about it, it's basically just toast. Like egg toast.
Good bread. Egg.
Good bread.
And some ketchup.
I gotta. So what motivated you to live the way you do?
My husband and the Word of God.
And do you still live this way today? Like, do you still live frugal and like still eat rice and beans and all that? Or are you just living it up now?
Well, I don't necessarily eat rice and beans, although I love rice and beans. So occasionally we do eat that, but we have sacrificed so that we have enough that I do go out to dinner, probably twice a month. And
I love that. I love seeing you and Dad.
Yeah,
enjoy your life now.
I enjoy that. That's one of my favorite things to do. We go out to dinner, but I still live frugally. Because it's just in you.
Yeah.
It's just in you. I love yard sales.
They're
I
fun,
love thrift
honestly.
stores. It's like a treasure hunt.
You don't know what you're going to find.
You don't know what you're going to find. And there's so much good stuff out there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not a matter of, do I have the money? But just, it's fun.
It's fun. It is fun. And two, like even now, like sometimes I can't, I'll splurge on like something if I like it or if it's like a good quality. But sometimes I'm like, I can't spend this much money on a purse when I can get just a good quality purse for $25 instead of like
to that.
$2,000.
Purses, I'm like, not a priority for me.
I don't know. I just can't. hey, if you're a purse person, you
Yeah.
know, whatever, that's
up
cool.
to you.
No, you know, shade on that. But some things I'm like, I just can't get myself. And then other things, of course, you know, with me and my size 11 shoe, I'm like, hey, if it's size 11, I will pay.
That's right.
You find it.
And we spend money on, my husband has a lot of hobbies and because we're frugal in one area, then we have the money. If something like an old car comes up, that's one of his hobbies that he loves. An old car comes up that he has the money for that because we've saved in other areas. So it just depends what's important to you.
Yeah, and every person's different.
Correct. Every person is different.
I think the takeaway is just to like management and just to sacrifice no matter what. If you're sacrificing in this area because you want, you know, something in another area or vice versa, it takes sacrifice to get to where you are. And props to you for owning 5 homes, you know, and having no debt, no credit card debt, no car payment, no like nothing. And to that point is you live so much, you have less stress. And stress today, I mean, stress, money, finances, that's what breaks up marriages. That's what, you know,
causes disease,
digestive issues. Heck, like stress causes so much. I can personally attest to that, that, you know, if you can reduce your stress.
Yeah. There's stressors in the world and you can't get away from it. But if you can reduce your stress in the areas where you don't have to be stressed, and money is one of them. So you don't have to be stressed. Don't get into debt. You know, don't buy something on a whim. Think it over.
Right. Or like try, I mean, at least, you know, everyone has their thing, but you know, if you want to remodel a home or, I mean, try and save up before you remodel.
That's
or,
correct.
You know, like, I mean, this is just personal tips. Kind of going into, I guess, my last question that I actually had for you is, what tips do you have for others wanting to get ahead?
Well, here's a big tip in that my husband and I didn't go into debt. That's huge. But the other thing is if you really want something to get you on a plan, we went to the Dave Ramsey classes. And that really set us up for some things that we didn't know about. And they'll get you on a budget. It's really a great program. And he always says it takes sacrifice to win. That's why I always say that.
Oh, Dave.
And it's absolutely true. And he always says, you know, get yourself on a budget. Because if you don't have your money designated to go somewhere, it's going to go somewhere and you're not going to know where it went. So designate where you want your money to go. And that choice is yours. You set yourself on your own budget, what's important to you, and what you want to save for, and where you can, you know, make sacrifices. Each person has that. It's pretty individual, and you decide what you want out of life.
So tip would be take a Dave Ramsey class.
Honestly, I would tell anyone to do that.
A plug. This is Dave Ramsey.
But I would tell anyone to do that. It's a great class. Don't get into debt. Pay if you have, you know, some people have credit cards for gasoline or whatever because they want to build their credit. Pay it off at the end of the month. Make sure you do that. You set that. If you put so much money on a credit card for gas, make sure you have that cash either in an envelope or somewhere so that at the end of the month, you can pay that off.
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, everyone has a credit card, you know, but I had to get a credit card many years ago just to build my credit, right? Otherwise, I wasn't able to buy my first condo or this house or anything like that. And
but pay it off at the end of the
I would
month.
always pay it off, and I had a limit. I still do.
That's
like
right.
on my credit, I was like, get the smallest limit so I can only spend like a few $100 on this credit card.
Well, either that or limit yourself. Tell yourself, hey, I'm only spending, you know, so much on this, so much on that. That's your budget.
Yeah.
You put out a budget, what you can afford. And people say, you know, live within your means. But really, if you want to get ahead, you need to live under your means so that you have money to put away for savings, for whatever you're wanting to buy, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, whether it's whatever.
And to give.
Special food and to give.
To give back.
That's right. Actually, Dave teaches that in his class. That's a portion of the budget.
Yeah. Well, and then something else too is, if you can, pay everything with cash, because it's so much different when you see the money go away. I mean, I know no one really pays with cash anymore, but it's
I do.
I know you guys do. But it's totally different when you're paying with a card. You don't see the money coming in and out. But when you're paying with cash and you look in your wallet and you're like, I have no money now. Mm-hmm. It just kind of sets things back into reality. And you're like, oh, I only have like $5 left. Oh, okay then. Like maybe I shouldn't buy whatever.
Yeah. And if you don't have the money, for it, you can't afford it. Totally. So save and put that money away little by little, and it grows. Don't touch it. You have a goal. And honestly, when it became more exciting for me to see my house payment go down, not my house payment, but the principal on my mortgage go down than me going out and buying something, it was exciting to see that. Okay, and I would figure out, okay, how many more months, till it's all paid off. It's exciting.
Almost like a treasure hunt.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting. And stay consistent. If you decide that you and your husband want to do that, and you have the little bit extra cash to do that, stay consistent.
Yeah. Or you and your husband, what about you?
Yeah, you. If you have a house.
A home like me?
That's right. If you have a home by yourself, absolutely.
Yeah, you can totally make it. I mean, you don't have to have a partner to take that step, There's not just me. I've seen tons of people and they've bought homes by themselves. Mm-hmm. They're business owners. They can do it. And if they're smart, Yeah,
we're not telling you to go out and buy one right now. Be smart about,
I don't know about the market right now.
The market, and be smart about, interest payments and the interest on your loan. But
what are you telling people to do, Mom?
Save for whatever
and eat leftovers
is going to come your way. I love leftovers.
Sometimes leftovers are good for certain things. Sometimes leftovers,
some things don't go well the next day, but chili beans, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, any kind of soup
or the next day, so good.
Yeah. How did we we're always talking about food. I don't know. I'm always bringing it back to food. It's like a unconscious thing. But okay. So, I mean, I really hope that this was a little bit more insightful for all of you guys listening. And also, there's a story behind every person, and just because you see them and you see that they're doing X, Y, and Z, I really think that they had to be somewhere. They had to do something to get to where they are. I mean, not everyone. Some people are born into it, but a lot of people, they worked really hard to get to where they were or where they are. And, it doesn't just come easy. And let me tell you, it's sacrifice. Seeing that from my mother, doing it myself, making sacrifices for my life, and just putting priorities, your own priorities of where you want them. And so, yeah, I guess that's the only advice I can give. But I mean, I'm learning from the best right here, sitting right across from me. So thank you, Mom.
Thanks, Bethany.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. And remember that if you did enjoy it, please share it with your friends and family, and go to your podcast in the Apple Store. Give it a rating, give it a review. I would always love to see that, and it helps get my podcast into more ears and help people to find it more easily and share this kind of information with the world. So thank you so much for that and your support. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, Sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Resonant Media production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Chris McCone. To email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.